Hey, what is up, y'all? Welcome to Get Solo Game Day here at Heavy Cardboard. Teach, play, and discuss medium and heavy strategy, board games, war games, 18xx. I'm your host, Edward Euler, and hopefully we get chat working. If not, chat doesn't work today. All right, so be it. Archipelago, take two. All right, designed by Christoph Bollinger, published by Ludically, and solo. So it's y'all and me versus the game. So we'll see how this goes today. If y'all do enjoy the stream, consider giving it a thumb down below, subscribe, support the show over on patreon.com/heavycardboard. It's been a bit of an eventful day here today. Lincoln took Lincoln to the dog park and yeah, got a bit of a run-in with another dog. He was just running. Another dog got excited. Got a bit of a hole in the side. He's okay. Just been tending to that today, but he's chilling downstairs, wrapped up. He's okay. He'll be all right. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. I'm not going to do a full teach since we did this a couple weeks ago. We're just going to give a very brief overview and then get into it. So there you go. All right, let's get into it. So there you go. I'll go ahead and read through the setting, though. All right. Archipelago recounts the great age of discovery, an era of intensive exploration and colonization of the world by European explorers. The game covers the period from 1492, the discovery of the Antilles by Christopher Columbus, to 1797, the colonization of Tahiti. Each player, or us in this case, portrays an explorer, which we're going to have to figure out who we're going to be, but more on that in a minute, and their team, commissioned by a European nation, a undisclosed European nation, to discover, colonize, and exploit the islands. The mission is intended to be one of peace, meet the needs of the local population while providing commercial returns to the continent. The archipelago and its natives must be treated fairly or they will rebel, potentially leading to an all-out war of independence. A balance must be found between expansionism and humanism, between commercial goals and respect for local values, between knowledge sharing and unbridled industrialization. Such balance can only be achieved through each player's commitment to making the archipelago a happy and productive colony. If not, the reckless exploitation of the island's resources and their inhabitants will ultimately lead to chaos and revolt. To complicate matters, well, you know what? Doesn't apply to the solo game. We'll leave it there. All right. So, what is it we're trying to do? Well, we're trying to reach whatever our end goal is to start with, okay? All right? And I'll be honest, I went and looked, and I didn't really see much by way of votes from the last stream. So you know what we're going to do here, y'all? Since we're here, let's go ahead and how about we decide? Okay? Because this is going to dictate what it is we're going to be doing in this game. So, Pierre Roche, the end game trigger is 7x evolution. Wow, I cannot speak today. 7 evolution cards is the trigger for the end of the game. Okay? This one, you know what? I do not know what Comte Monet, the capitalist, wants. Oh, I guess run the bank out of money? Yeah, we're not going to choose that one, so don't worry about that. All right, moving on. So Henri Lebeuf is very similar, except different, 6 versus 7. That is 8 towns? Wow. No, we're not doing that one. Silvio Propaghi, we have to have a population of 50. That seems excessive. Like, legitimately, no, we're not doing that one. It's nice when you run the stream, you can make these decisions. So, Admiral Levendest, the great explorer, very similar, except one starts at sea, one starts at land. Okay. Robinson Crusoe, you may have heard of him. All three of those are very similar. Okay. Enrico Lonis, you got to have a market, a chapel, a port, and or 2 ports in 3 towns. That's doable. Like, I'll leave that open, like, as a possibility for y'all. Donald Trump. 5 of every resource. That seems ambitious. That seems difficult. But I'll leave it out here for you sickos. So we're going to kind of, since these 4 are very similar. What is that? Rebels, over 40 rebels for Chef Tete et Terre? No, not doing that one. Christopher Columbus, I think, is kind of intriguing. A little bit. Go through 18. We have to explore 18. Successfully explore 18 tiles. That just from a space standpoint, that one seems taxing. And the merchant Aziz Tutouche Taché. That one. So that's 2 markets. And I don't know what that bank symbol is. I need to actually look that one up. A moment. I'm trying to... That is... Any 3 resources run out at the bank. 2 resources run out at the bank. Huh. All right. You're right, not 18, but 20. You. Yeah, that just, I don't know that I'm going to want to. That, no, on Christopher. Yeah, no, not on that. All right. There you go. So peanut gallery, what do we have? We have a lot of buildings that we need to build here. 7 or 6 rounds, basically, because we must buy a card, an evolution card every turn. That feels kind of a meh goal, but at the same time, it feels kind of a reasonable playtime, but also kind of interesting. Kind of like that. This one, 5 of every resource, which seems really difficult, especially since you need to do it realistically in under 8 turns. That seems hard. As does this, given the time frame. You're looking at 5 to 6 turns because we have to buy an evolution card every round. Getting a ton of money. Wow, some of these are sick. So Robinson Crusoe. So these 3 are all essentially the same as far as the endgame goal. This requires us to have 12 Explorer tokens, at least 12 Explorer tokens in the first 6 rounds. That's insane. Like, some of these are insane. All right, so we got Caruso, Pierre, Aziz. Yeah, that does seem long, doesn't it, Kresimir? It looks like Aziz seems to be the one that y'all most want me to go with, so I guess that's what we're going to go with. That seems to be the general consensus. Now, it's not a total consensus, but the majority. All right, so there we go. All right, let me straighten these up a moment. All right, so now that we have gone through, now that we have figured that out, what is it we're trying to do? And I suppose we could go ahead and talk about this. So it's a medium length game in theory based on there, right? We have the starting conditions. So we're going to start on the desert side, okay? We're going to start with 1 explorer, and we're going to start with 3 money. The end of the game is when we have built 2 marketplaces. Now, this is the positive end of the game. Independence would be the other, but 2 marketplaces, and the bank is out of 2 of those. Okay? Now, they can be up here. They could be in our supply, but it must be out of the general supply, is how I understand that. Okay? Then, with that, the goals. The 5th, this one is not going to happen. From what I've read, this is mostly impossible for most of these goals. Getting gold seems really unlikely. So that's less than 5 rounds. That's not happening. Ideally, 5 or 6, but you know what? I don't care how long it takes. If we succeed, and I say rounds because it is exploration cards, and we must buy 1 exploration card every round in a solo game, so I don't care as long as I actually succeed. So there we go. All right? So we're starting on the desert side, which the desert side, no, it's not there. We need to actually find it, and then I will shuffle these bad boys up. A moment. Obviously, I could not have planned for this since we didn't know which character we were going to be. I am trying to find it. A moment. There it is. All right. And here, I'm not going to look. I'll look at you guys. Yeah, I know. The alligator eats the bigger number. Whatever. All right, so I said it wrong. Yeah, sue me. All right, they're shuffled up enough to where I don't think it matters. There we go. All right, let's get that back where it was. About right there. All right. So, and let me get this facing the right way because that's, there we go. We'll put that right there to start. Okay. So we have everything set up. Now let's go ahead and talk about the flow of the game. So disengagement. Basically any of our meeples or our dudes that are engaged get unengaged or disengaged. Order of play, we skip it because it's just us. Population effects should go relatively quickly. Balance of the archipelago, theoretically quickly. Actions is the meat of the game, and as you can see here, we're going to do 1 action and then either do an action, use a character or progress card, meaning an evolution card, or use a market or a port, and then we must go through purchasing the evolution. Pretty simple, okay? Now, in the solo game, there is no turn 0, so I will go ahead, put this up here. So we start with 1 there. Okay, everything else we don't. We start with 3 cash. And I could be using the poker chips for this, but honestly, I think this works out well enough. We don't need that anymore. Cool. All right. So we have 3 actions. These are all of the available actions that we have to us in each round, and then we will go ahead. I'm going to shuffle these up real quick. Yeah, it's not actually like that, right, Krasimir? So, yep. Who knows? Rulebook's not the greatest. Fair. I'm not really. There we go. So, shuffled up enough, and we're going to go ahead and put these out. So, I'm not going to cover these until later. Although I will do this, I will go ahead and show what they are because I think this matters for us. So as you can see, minimum amount of money we need going into this is going to be $2 for the bishop. That's a minimum. Wow. Pope's awfully expensive, ain't he? Okay. The Great Lighthouse goes down in value. Gets us, okay. All right, so we're going to need $2 is what that is. All right. Okay. So Oh, one other thing. There are 5 huts and no resources out here, so we start with a population of 5. So that actually is going to be really, really good for, check that. We start with a population of 1 and we start with 5 available to be hired. Let me double check that, I believe. That counts for the start of the game as well, I believe. Although normally we start on the seaside. So just want to make sure. Because the number of huts, huts minus resources, that's how many surplus workers that we have. There are 0 resources, there are 5, so there are 5. We have 1 dude, and technically that dude will go ahead and start out there. So there we go. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. All right, so the game ends one of 2 ways. As I said, we need to build 2 markets and we need to run the supply out of 2 resources. Now, how do we build markets? The markets are going to cost us an exotic fruit and I believe that is a cow. So we need 1 green and we're going to call it 1 kind of orange color resource right here to be able to build those. So that's what we need and run the supply out of 2 resources. Or if the amount of rebels ever surpasses the number of population, okay? Oh, fine, fine, okay. I'll stand them up. I'm just doing it easier for you guys watching, but okay. What's up, Drew? By the way, a little London fog today to start. And British breakfast for the backup. Ah, that's good. All right, so let's go ahead and start. Disengagement. No, he's not engaged. Don't need to worry about it. Order of play. Skip it. And then the population effects. And I'm going to be using my little cheat sheet just to make sure that I get it, everything right. Now, what does that mean? That means we're going to go through all of the 4 boards. Okay, we have the domestic market. We have the export market. So I'll probably use domestic, international, something like that. Just know this is exporting, that is domestic. Then we have our population and rebel count and our surplus workers. So if you take a look at the top board, you'll notice that if there are ever any amount of resources that come down to where there is a symbol for surplus workers or for rebels, we're going to adjust the surplus workers or the rebels based on where the cube is. We will always fill top to left to top to right, then work our way down, so on and so forth. So obviously, we start with 0 movement on any of this, so we don't need to worry about it. There are no goods over here in the export market. Don't need to worry about that. We have 1 population. Why? Because we have our homie over here. Okay, good. And this is not higher than, it can be equal, but can never be higher than that, so we're good to go. And then finally, you'll notice 2 things. 1, the surplus worker, we are not on that track. We don't, where our population isn't, so we can ignore that. And then finally, you'll notice that the rebel number, if the surplus workers is ever here, goes down by 1, whereas if it ever gets up to here, you add a rebel worker, or a rebel, you add 2 rebels, so on and so forth, as you can see. So we want to keep, basically, folks employed is the moral of the story. And this is going to be the cost to hire those workers. As I mentioned, we have 3 actions. We have 3 bucks, as you can see on our card right there. And then finally, now we can briefly go over the actions that are available. Now, I could turn it for this camera. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. There we go. Better. All right. Any of the spots that are down here are going to be limited to the number of times that we can do it. Now, we are obviously playing yellow because me, duh. So, exploration. I have 1 spot and then there are 2 other spots. So I could theoretically take that up to 3 times. And then the taxation could theoretically take that up to 3 times. Have babies. I can only do that once per player. Getting resources they are limited to once per. So you'll notice 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and there. Sorry, not that. That is construction. And in addition, construction is how we're going to be able to build buildings. Then there is migration, which is how we're going to move around to the various tiles. And then transactions, meaning go ahead and be able to use the markets or the ports out there as well. So the market and the port, but those have to be built. But more on that in a little bit. This is where we go to recruit surplus workers. Again, that is going to be recruit, i.e. hire these guys, and it adds to our population there. And that's pretty much it. Those are all the available actions that we can take. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? All right. Oh, congratulations, Drew. Nice. Just got second dose of his vaccine. Congrats. I get mine March 23rd. I am very, 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 very looking forward to that. All right. Now, there is one other step that I didn't mention, which is the balance of the archipelago. We skipped this in round 1, which would have to do with doing things over here. We're not even going to bother talking about that right now until next round. Okay? And the last thing is these 3 exploration token stacks. They have 8 each. If we ever deplete one of them, then we're going to get an extra action. We deplete a second one, we get a 5th action, and there's that, but we're not going to. So there we go. And you're right, spinners. I think I misspoke. These are not limited to 1 action. You're right. Those are unlimited. These are the only limited actions. You're right. Thank you. All right. Good call. You're right. All right. Oh, wow. And John B. Sloop got his second vaccine as well. Y'all are on it. Nice. Congrats. Where are y'all at? All right, so let's get started with our actions. Well, we know we're going to need $2. And if there's one thing that I learned last game is let's get our population going early, if at all possible. So we need $2 to be able to hire the bishop at a minimum. Exploring is going to be really nice for us, which will give us a wild resource. What do y'all think we should do for our first action? Help me out here. All right. I could make a case for exploration. We're not going to buy any resources quite yet. So we can't have babies. You need 2 to tango, right? So we can't do that. Our population is currently 1. I mean, exploring to be able to get resources makes sense to me, I think. And I guess I should talk about the 1 tile that is visible right now has stone, which that is not one of the things that we need for our marketplaces, as well as 3 fish out there. And that increases the surplus workers by 1 because there are 4 resource markers out there, right? So, okay. Yeah, exploration starting with the desert's hard. Well, but the good news is we do have this event. I think we explore. I think we have to. I mean, because what else are we going to do? We have no resources, and we have $3. I think we have to. Let's do it. So we will go and grab one of these. We'll go ahead and explore there. Now, when it comes to exploring, okay, we have a choice. We can either take this tile and we get either the top or bottom side, or we can say, no, we don't want this tile, and then we are forced to take the second tile, top or bottom. We get to look at it then. Yeah. You're right, it's mountain, you're right. So I say we discard the top tile and we roll the dice, so to speak, on the second one. What's up, Mark? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna discard this tile out of play. This is what we could have had on the other side. That, well, I mean, it's a volcano, so okay, that's not the end of the world that we got rid of this. So that's out of the game. Okay, cool. So we must take this one, which, good news, we can use this one. So we have, oh, Well, that is one of the resources that we are going to need here as well. I think that I like that side better than I like this side. On this side, we have wood and we have stone for the resources. All right. No, don't do that, Kresimir. So that side's decent. Plus it gives us, access to water potentially for, this tile right here. We will need exotic fruit, right, for the marketplace as well. But I'll be honest, I kind of like the idea of getting some cows out there. So I'm leaning towards this one. What do y'all think? I'm okay with y'all helping out, clearly. So unless I hear otherwise, I think we will go ahead and put that out there. Now, one rule for the solo game is normally this must be touching 2 tiles, but if it touches the center tile, it only needs to touch the center tile, okay? So, there we go. I think that's pretty good, provided that y'all are on board with this. Then, the game, the domestic market, will get 1 cow, and we too will get 1 cow. The other option is the domestic market could get either a stone and a wood, or a wood, and we would get the other one. Okay? That is easier to expand, the Christopher, the one with the water on it. You make a fair point, but and Krasimir says cows are good for cows, but the other side is good for sea and easier exploration. I guess that does make it easier, doesn't it? I mean, because if you look at this, like that tile does go pretty well right there, right? All right. It seems y'all have spoken that everybody seems to think that going all land is risky. So okay, I will listen. Okay. All right. Then we'll go on this side. So I say, do we take the wood or the stone? Now the wood allows us to build a ship because we are going to need wood for the ship. Okay, there. By the way, is that blurry to y'all? I think that's blurry to me, but my eyes are getting bad, so let's see. That seems better. There we go. All right, so I think the game will get the iron and we will get the stone. I feel pretty good about that. So we will take the stone, and then the game will go ahead and take the iron, which is going to be a black. And so that will go right there. Cool. Okay. And stone, we can build a bunch of stuff with. All right? Cool. All right. So that is one of our actions. So now, what do you think we should do? Okay, everybody likes this, but for the focus, got it. Okay. I mean, if we were to hire, that would cost us $3. And then if we breed, the problem is we need $2. We can't do that. Oh, shoot, it's wood, not stone, which is, I don't know why I said stone. Thank you. I'm glad somebody's paying attention. All right, I got it. All right. So I love the idea of being able to hire for $3 and then being able to procreate, so hire and then have a baby. That would give us 3 workers, and our population would just all of a sudden be up to 3. That is awesome. However, in step 6, we must buy a card. If we do not buy a card, our game is over. So I don't think we can buy a worker, unfortunately, this turn. Oh, and that was a successful exploration. We get a exploration marker, which is a wild resource, a wild and crazy resource. Okay? That is one of the keys for that. All right. I got there, guys. I got there. Oh, and hold on. I'm zoning over here. There are 2 resource markers on that, which means there are going to be 3 surplus. 1, 2, and 3. Still going to cost us $3. Doesn't help us. Taxing adds 1 rebel. We're going to add another rebel for this. So that's going to be at 2 rebels, because where our surplus here, and I will show, where our, oh, actually, if we hire 1, we won't. And then if we tax, though, it pisses people off. It's going to add a rebel. And taxing would get us $2, which does fix the problem. That would, for every surplus worker, I'd take that back. That would be $7. I lied. That would be $2. That is for population, not surplus workers. So we would have $2, no ships, none of those. Oh, and we must move over to that spot. He'll hang out on the beach. So, okay, if we hire, that costs 3. That drops that down to here. Then, if we tax, we get $2 back. But we'll be at 2 and 1. Oh, that's risky. That's risky. So Spinner is pretty adamant about hiring for $3. How are we going to get the $2 then to buy the card for the bishop? Somebody walk me through what I'm missing on that, because that I don't see. The fact that we only have 2 actions left, and if we hire, that leaves us 1 action left, and we have to have $2. So I love the idea of bumping up our population, because I learned from the last game that is going to be key early. It's a fair point. I guess for the third one, we could sell the wood. That's actually a fair point. Okay, fine. I'll do that. Let's go and let's hook that up. All right. We're going to go ahead and hire a worker. Okay, so we will come on up here. We will spend the $3. So we're hiring 1. So that will drop down to there. Spend the $3. That is going to get us a surplus worker. So that's going to go up. Our worker then comes out here, and it goes wherever we have an existing one. So he will go ahead and hang out also at the beach, and hey, there we go. Okay, so that's 2 actions. Then for our third action, we will have a transaction. So that will go there. We will then sell our wood, and our wood can be sold either to the domestic market if we wish, or, you know, $7 there for the export market. So that'll do, pig. That'll do. That was the step I was missing. So well done, Peanut Gallery. That is all of our actions now. Okay? So now, evolution card purchase. Now, you'll see that there is a crisis on here. We don't need to worry about it. The fact that it's in red, it's only when it's revealed during this step. So we have $7. So now let's go ahead and look at this. What this arrow means, if it's multicolor, means any player can use it. But in our game, it just means you tap it and spend $1, and then you go down 1 on the rebel track. So pretty simple. Okay. All right. Same thing. It is lose 1 rebel per church that you have built. Okay, and it has a medal, which is points. But $9, not happening. So the Pope's going to die. The Great Lighthouse is a wonder. Spend an action disc that is going to be an iron, 2 stone, and have at least a port, I believe that is. And you get a ship for every port that you have. I guess that would be good in theory. Realistically, not going to happen. We may end up buying it when it becomes $3, but not worrying about it right now. Tap it, spend a wood, build a ship in a region where you have non-engaged, non-rebel citizen, meaning they're standing up and they're not doing something, either on a building or on a resource, without spending an action disc. That's sexy as hell. That actually is pretty tempting. I could make a case for either shipbuilding or the bishop. And the assassin, I'm actually going to... Okay, I won't throw it out of the game because technically, and I just realized, you guys can't see the cost of that. There we go. Let's do that. Currently $6. Eliminate a character controlled by one of the players. So we could kill ourselves. A little straw man action. A little PAX reference here. All right. Pay the minimal cost of the eliminated character. And remove the card from the game. And the assassin cannot. Yeah. So, shipbuilding or bishop. I could make a case for both. However, I believe that the shipbuilding would require us to spend a wood to do it, and then we have to spend another wood and $1. But, so it's an extra wood, but we're spending the wood in lieu of an action disc. That's kind of nice. But the problem is, it's twice as expensive as the bishop. Now, I feel pretty good that we don't care about the Pope and we don't care about the assassin. So we're going to rotate both of those. So we'll be able to keep the shipbuilding still at $4. Because we must buy a card and then we must rotate 2 cards. I mean, I like the idea of building shipbuilding, but the bishop, he's cheap, and have the ability to reduce rebels in an emergency. Build a ship for only a wood, so I don't have... Oh, that's even better. Oh, good Lord. Instead of having to pay 2 wood and a $1. Man, that is good. And it is possible that we're looking to build a ship this turn. You know what? I think we go shipbuilding. But man, spending the extra $2 I hate doing. But we do have $7. You know what? Let's go shipbuilding. I would rather be able to, I think, do that. I think shipbuilding. Yeah, let's go shipbuilding. So we'll go ahead and buy that for $4. So we're going to go ahead and just put our card up there. We know what it is at this point. And this is going to be kind of our tableau area right there. So we'll spend $4 there. And now we need to rotate 2 cards. Pope, we don't care about you. And I could make a case that we should discard the assassin out of the game entirely and draw another card, but we'll just rotate it. It's just going to be filler anyways. Done. And then we will refill after we have done those two things. And we got row ads. During migration, all your citizens may move one additional region. That's kind of nice. And gets cheaper. So I like the fact that we have some cheap cards out here. Yeah. All right. So there we go. So we are done with the evolution card phase. Congratulations, we have survived. All right. So step one, disengage. Nobody's engaged. Done. Population effects. All right. Let's go through it. Nothing up here. Nothing down here. We're still safe and nothing there. And we're here, so nothing going on. Hey, awesome. All right. But now, balance of the archipelago. So let's go ahead and talk about this, since this is the first time that this has come up. Where can we put that that's out of the way? Let's go ahead. Okay. So we have a domestic and a... it's an export crisis, not crisis, but forget the exact termination. Let me get the correct thing. Correct verbiage. Domestic consumption crisis and an export consumption crisis. So the domestic consumption crisis is for every one cow that we discard, either from ourselves or from the market, we can prevent 4 citizens from becoming rebels. So technically, these guys will now lay down at the beginning of this step. So we need to discard 1 cow from either the domestic, the export, or from our supply, our personal supply, to keep both of them from going away. So we will discard the 1 cow that we have from the market, and that will stand both of our guys back up. So, hey, great. If we had up to 4, good. Okay, done. And then we have to do the export crisis. So what happens here is you'll see that there are 2 stone listed. For every stone that we do not discard, we are going to gain 1 rebel. Well, as you can see, I have no qualms getting rid of that one. That's easy enough. So now the question is, do we get rid of our stone, because there's no other stone, or do we take a rebel? I think we take the rebel, okay? I think we take the rebel. I'm okay with that. Boom. Done. That card is now satisfied. We have balanced the archipelago. Okay? Any questions on that? And now we have our actions. Technically, should have cleared these. All right. Oh, shoot. That's export. You're right. It can't come from the import. You're right. Oh, so I guess we're going to take... Ooh, do we take 2 rebels? That's a good call. So do we get rid of... I guess we have to get rid of our export? Our exploration token, I mean. Or do we take a second rebel? We are going to have a baby this turn. I'm not worried about that. So we would stay ahead of the rebel. Spinners, calm down. I got it. Relax. Take a breath. Easy on the keyboard. I do think we are going to explore one more time this turn, at least once. We're going to have a baby, and I don't know on the third action yet. So I know we're going to get another exploration token. So I think we will go ahead and discard it out of the game. Now, I say it's out of the game. It does not go back to the stacks over here. All right. So now that's done. Now our actions. So action number 1, let's have a baby. Let's go ahead and start there. So there. Okay. So if you have 2 unengaged, or I'm sorry, yeah, 2 unengaged workers on a tile, maximum number you can have on a tile is 3, and we now, boom, have 3. Population goes up 1. Hot damn, there we go. Action number 2, I think, has got to be to explore. So let's go ahead and explore again, okay? So now, I mean, that tile seems pretty good. We can get a pineapple, we can get a stone, or we can get a fish, right? I mean, I say we take the top tile because we know we can use that no matter what, and we can always look at the backside of it. So I say we take the top tile. Plus, the next tile is going to stay available to us regardless. So we're going to take the top tile. Okay, so now we get to look at the bottom of it as well. A couple of wood, a couple of stone, but I think, I mean, that just, and obviously land masses have to match up, right? I didn't specifically say that, but I think that's implied earlier. So I think we're in good shape. We now have all explorations good. We have mountain available to us. And to be clear, if I were to build out around this tile, it has to touch at that point 2 tiles. But I could still expand on this side, without touching 2 tiles. But I cannot expand to like there or just there. It must be on 2 tiles, or 1 if it just touches that. All right? So there you go. Oh, guys can reproduce and hire if engaged. So engaged doesn't matter. They just have to exist. They just can't be rebels, I believe. All right. So now, what do we put out into the market? So we have fish, we have stone, and we have pineapples. Better yet, what do we want? Surplus workers are going to go 2 higher. Why? Because there are 3 resources on that. 3 resources. And on the exploration, one of these guys has to come on over. So there. So let's see. I mean, fish, exotic fruit, and stone, all of those are already out in the market already. We're going to need, potentially, fruit. So I kind of like the idea of us taking the fruit. And then the question is, do we put fish or stone out there? I think we put stone out there. So we'll put 1 stone out into the external, I'm sorry, into the domestic. And I think we take the exotic fruit. And I always forget this, we got an exploration token as well, because it was a successful exploration. Yeah, all right, I think that was good. Now, just a reminder, we need a minimum of $2. There's also row ads. Yes, I know they're roads. Okay, row ads. We need $2 for the bishop, which we have. We're good. We could not. cannot have another baby because you can only do that once per turn. We can't hire because we need at least $2. But we could theoretically explore again. We could explore again. Huh. And looking at the top tile here, it's not great, but it's doable, right? I mean, it's fine. The big thing for the exploration on this is we get exploration tokens, which gives us wild tokens to be able to deal with balancing of the archipelago in any other crisis that may. So I like the exploration. I think so. Unless somebody tells me otherwise, I think we go exploration. Feel pretty good about that. Hey, if y'all are enjoying it, don't forget to give it a thumb, subscribe, patreon.com/heavycardboard. Yeah, let's explore again. I think so. So we will go ahead, boop, there. Now the question is, do we take top or bottom? Tile that we can see 1 or tile we can't see 2. Pick a number, 1 or 2, y'all. And when I get 3 answers of the same number, that's what we'll go with. All right. Okay, so everybody likes us getting rid of that tile. Okay, let's get rid of that tile. Seems pretty reasonable. All right, but before we show what was under it, that's what we got. Oh. And it could have gone right there, too. Ah! Oh, well, that's all right. We couldn't have known. All right, well. All right, that is our tile. Well, let's look at both sides. That is what tile is next. A lot of pineapple. That's not the end of the world. Because that tile could actually go right there. That's not terrible. I don't think, right? So how would that, oh yeah, that also works like right there. So that would get us a surplus of 2. That would get us a surplus of 3. And looking at that, the 3 is bumping up against cheaper, but more rebels. But the cheaper is nice. But I'll be honest, I really like the 2 pineapple side. I like the 2 pineapple side. So, 2 pineapple or the other? I'm thinking the 2 pineapple because it gets us another pineapple under the sea, which we can then sell for a fair bit of quiche right there for 8 if we need, but also trying to eliminate some of these, right? Oh, I missed the mountain. Oh, I did. I missed the mountain on that. So how would, ooh. How? Nope. Nope. Ooh, I don't, ooh, that one's trickier. because I can't put it up there because it fits on that one, but not on that side. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that side goes anywhere. I don't think we actually can use that. However, this one we can. I like the pineapple side. But I don't think, I mean, looking at, because that won't work there. That won't work. No, it doesn't work. Because there's no mountain on, no, that doesn't work. So Brianna is pro pineapple is what I'm seeing. Yeah, no, we're going pineapple. So let's go just like that. All right, so we will now move that out of the way. That'll do, pig, that'll do. So that is going to get us a surplus of 3. Pineapple for me, pineapple for you. 1 there, and 1 there. Done. So you know what, let's just move that down. Put that bad boy right there. There we go. Okay. And, ooh. Right, because of the, check that. Hold on, before we settle on that, we can do something like this on this bottom side. And the reason I say that, no, I can't, because it has to be adjacent to these. Never mind. So unfortunately, when we do that, we are not, one of these guys has to come over here, which now makes it impossible to breed. Yep. So that's kind of a bummer. But at the same time, I do think we're going to be able to hire. So it's okay. It's okay. We'll manage. All right. So evolution card purchase now. Oh, and that was a successful exploration. There we go. All right. Cool. So evolution cards. Now, again, bishop is nice. So are the roads. Now, that is the last of our money. We have $3. Those are our only 2 options. And being able to migrate an additional region, an additional tile is really nice. But how often are we going to migrate that far? Depends how much we're going to be exploring, I suppose. And let's face it, we're probably going to sell a pineapple for $8 next turn. So I think the money shouldn't really come into play here too much. So in other words, we can do the roads. Or we could take the bishop, rotate the roads, and make it cheaper. There we go. That's it. So let's take the bishop for $2. And so we're going to take the bishop. We will rotate roads so they're cheaper. And then, you know, rotate the Pope. That's fine. Let's go ahead and refill. Good news, there is not an emergency. You guys can't see that. There is not an emergency crisis. So we don't need to worry about that. And we have the king. Oh my, he's expensive. When determining the order of play, the king adds automatic 3. Right. So again, much like the assassin, it's a multiplayer card technically. So, okay. All right. So the bishop we'll just go ahead and put it up here, and if we use it, we use it. Cool. All right, so that is done. Take our actions back. Now, nobody's engaged. Our population is currently correct. We're good. So, population effects. So here we go. What do we got? Nothing on that board. Nothing on that board. And nothing on here, except the rebels are at a +1. Boop. Okay. Done. Oh, I forgot to pay my $2. There we go. Now, as an action, just as a reminder, as an action, we can always spend $1 and drop a rebel one if we need. Okay? But yes, as has Casimir's already noticed, or Spinners, we now are going to go into the balance of the archipelago. So let's go ahead and put this. That works. So there we go. So we're going to have to discard a pineapple. That's fine, so be it. We'll discard one from the domestic, and all our dudes will stand up because there's only 3. Fine. However, oh God, did we just lose again? No, we're taking a rebel. So that's going to be 1 fish, 2 fish, and 3 fish. I think that was the card that sunk us last game, wasn't it? Have a good one, Drew. Drive safe. So, all right, not the end of the world, but we survived. Barely, but we survived. All right. So now actions. Good thing we explored a second time, in hindsight. Well, I think we have to go to the market and sell one of our pineapples for $8. Pineapples killed us last night. Okay. I'm glad you guys caught that. Thank you. That makes me happy. You know what? Let's go ahead and spend $1. Tap the bishop. I'm going to tap that. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. All right. Rebel went down 1. Just a little bit of breathing space. Then, for action number 1, we're going to come over here, sell a pineapple for 8. Again, breathing room. Okay. Or it doesn't work. So what I'm worried about right now is no matter what happens, we're going to add 1 rebel. So at least 1. Or better yet, you know what? Better yet, give me that $1 back. Bump that back up here. And we'll just, I can't. I can't spend all $9. Yeah, no. Nope, not gonna, never mind. I'll spend the $1 to drop that down. So now, we need at least $2 for the roads. Well, we're definitely going to hire one there, which will go there. And we'll go ahead and put that there on the beach. And that cost us 3. We could reproduce my only fear with not exploring is we don't have a wild token. So now at this point, we have a tiny bit of breathing room because we're still, okay. So what do we do with our last action, right? We're going to gain 1 rebel at the beginning of next turn. So we have a bit of breathing space with that, right? We don't know what the next card's going to be for what we're going to be losing. There's not a lot out here in the export market. So breeding would get us 1 higher. And again, a little bit of breathing space there and more workers out here. Or we could explore and get the wild token out there. Ah. Screw it, let's have a baby. So, oh, wrong one, sorry. So there are 2 together up here. That will be 3, that will go there, and our actions are done. All right. So now we do the evolution card purchase. So obviously it's going to be roads. So we'll pay 2, get $3 back. So we're good there. I have no idea how you would do this in less than 5 rounds. Like, that's impossible. Like, that's just not possible. To empty 2 resources in 4 rounds or less? That's stupid. What a terrible, like, that's just an unattainable, yeah, anyway. All right, so now migration, whenever we take that, they can move 1 extra. So that's good. We'll go ahead and rotate the king. And we'll rotate the assassin. I like that. And then we will bring up the cathedral. Now, there is an immediate crisis happens. This says you lose a rebel for every church. Well, we have none, so we don't lose any. So not the end of the world. So that's already done. Just know that we're gonna, we're gonna take 2 rebels is what's going to happen with the 2 cows. So there's that. Okay. All right. So nobody's engaged. And population effects. Again, nothing, nothing, nothing. Add 1 rebel. Done. Then, there. So, the top we've already talked about. The bottom, unfortunately, there are no cows to get rid of. We have none, so it's going to be 2 rebels. But we're safe, at least. So that's the balance of the archipelago. And now we go into the actions. Okay, so, hi. Oh God, did I screw this up? $7, looks like, for the Great Lighthouse. That's how much we're gonna need. Oh my. Okay. Well, we're going to need the money. What do we do? Trade in our pineapple for 8. Under the sea. There's 10. Theoretically, we could hire 2 more. I'll spend $1 to use the bishop. That will go down 1. Now what? We need to be very, very, very careful with what tiles we take if we explore, because we need more, because getting 2 rebels would be bad. Man, this is hard. I like it. It's just hard. We could theoretically hire 2 more for $6. No, we can't. Check that. We could hire 1 more for 3. And that gives us a buffer of 2. Oh, boy. Because the lighthouse is going to cost us 7. No, I did get it for that one. I did move it up. That's why it was even with us. So we're good. Explore. Man, we are living on the edge, aren't we? And the thing is, if we explore, we give ourselves a little bit extra room. If we explore, then higher? I think so. I think we explore, then higher. This is not how I saw this going. This is way harder than I thought it was going to be. And you know what? Since this is part of... Those are all the resources that are left, and we have to empty 2 of those. And here. Okay. We could produce something, right? We could produce a pineapple and sell it for 8. I mean, money isn't the problem, though. It's peeps that are the problem. Rebels are the problem. Yeah, I don't know. In less than 5 rounds, I don't see how that's possible. Like, I think that's literally comically impossible. I mean, another idea is we could migrate. We could migrate 1. Oh, hold on. If we were to migrate this guy here and this guy here, and then we produce pineapple, it gives us 3 pineapple. It doesn't sell us anything. It buys us a little maybe here. Or we could not migrate and produce 2 pineapples. And then what at that point? I like that idea. But if we migrate, we can then have a baby next turn too. Whoo! Man, what do we do? Ah! You know what? I think I explore. Explore, then produce. Because it potentially will move one of these guys off onto an island that maybe has pineapple that we then could, it's kind of like a free migration. And it buys us a little, we're going to explore. final decision. Y'all can make fun of me later. We are going to explore. So now, this is not the tile I want. It can work, right? It can fit right here. So it can work, but it's not the one I want. So Peanut Gallery, do we take the top tile 1 or do we bury it in tile 2? Because it is a successful exploration though. Okay? So, y'all let me know. Woo! In a perfect world, I want pineapples. You know, for Brianna. All right, 1 it is. All right. Exactly. Can't risk not getting the wild resource. I agree, Alyssa. So we're going to take that tile. Come here. Get. Yeah. Oh, that kills me. It's available next turn, though. Or possibly this turn. We'll see. But anyway. Oh, my God. Go for it, Brandon. So the other side. Oh, wow. Even has a little rainbow on it. All right. So that is the back side. That is the front side. Now, this only adds 1 to the population. I'm sorry, to the surplus workers. I kind of like that. Yeah, I think so. I think so. No, but the thing is, hey. And that allows us to move one of these guys as a free migration up there. I like that. That's sexy. That'll work. All right, so that's going to add 1 to the surplus. Okay, that's okay. So that, now, the thing is here, you know what, hold on, I don't know if I want to put that there. No, I do. The pineapple, I think, has to go here, doesn't it? That pineapple tile will have to go here, so we're going to have to use a migration. The only other, well, hold on. The other thing we could do is we could put this right there. I think that might be smarter. So you know what? Yeah. Let's zoom this out now. Now that we're getting a little bit. And this is going to go off camera for right now. The only thing is, that will stay there and he'll have to come over there. And then he will have to move, but now, if I put it there, the problem is then if I were to harvest, it's only 1 pineapple. And I think we do the migration next turn. So nope. That's going to go up there. It has to. So never mind. We're going to keep it there. The pineapple can go here, but we're going to have to migrate first. Because it has to come from an adjacent tile. I think it's got to go there. So we will have to migrate But that'll work. That's okay. We're going to do that. Final answer. Let me move this back down then. And obviously it's going to move again next turn, but so be it. All right, so I think that ended up working out okay. So now we adjusted the surplus workers. So there's going to be a wood or an iron that comes out into the domestic, and then we can take either or. See what I did there? Iron or, either or. So, all right, move those out of the way now. I think we put a wood into the domestic. So now the question is, there's already a wood out here. It sells for 7. Iron sells for 6, but at least it buys us a little bit of coverage on the export market, you know? Oh, and that was a successful exploration. Boop. That's important. So, do we take a wood for the extra buck? I'm going to take the wood because it also will possibly get us a ship. So, yeah, final answer there. We have one action left. We could have a baby or we could harvest. And I think harvesting is the obvious answer. We can't explore because we obviously want that tile. It needs to go there. No. So we're not going to explore. We're not going to waste the migration right now. So I think the only logical thing to do right now is either reproduce or produce pineapples, harvest pineapples. We're going to add one rebel there during step 3, which leaves us no room if we were to harvest pineapples. Man, I want to be able to harvest like 7. But I think we have to reproduce. No, the card, I think you guys are misunderstanding roads. It's not an extra action. It says during migration, meaning you still have to take the migration action. It just lets you go further than you normally would, i.e. 2 tiles instead of 1. So yeah, it's still in action, so that doesn't work. So Matt, here's the problem. If we produce, and whatever is under here requires, say, fish, and we produced, we're dead if it requires more than 1 fish. Because we have 0 room for error. Because it's going to go up 1 because of that. I really feel like we need to reproduce. I appreciate spinners, but I'm pretty sure you're wrong on this one. So if I produce, I get 2 pineapples. I don't think, no, I think we're going to reproduce. There. We have to. And that will go there. Or else we have zero room for error. Yep, done. Give me 1 second. Yeah. All right. So now, I think we have to buy the Great Lighthouse just because it's the cheapest. So in hindsight, I should have rotated the Great Lighthouse last turn. Saved us $2. All right, well, let's do it. So there's $7, and I'm just going to put it off to the side because realistically, that's not something we're ever going to do. So there. Now that I see this, I need to look for next turn as well as what to do, right? So the order here is buy, rotate, then fill after you're done. So I think we have to go Cathedral. And then we kill one of the cards, I think. I think so, either the Assassin or the Pope. Let's kill the Pope, because that's just funny to say. So, dead. Whoa, what's going on there? Focus. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, so the Pope, he did. What is that, white smoke or black smoke? I forget which it is. Anyway, all right, so here we go. Well, it doesn't matter which one we fill first. Okay, well, this happened. And it's a good thing we reproduced. So this happens immediately. We lose 2 iron from the export market. There are none. There's 1, there's 2. And then in the Explorer, you may buy or sell an unlimited number of cubes of the same resource type on the export market. Well, that kind of works really well with a whole bunch of pineapples, doesn't it? The corresponding amount goes to or comes from the bank. Well, how you doing? Hello. That couldn't have been a better card. So here we go. But this is key. Here we go. Good news. Nothing, but I think we still die. Oh, the Colossus of, well, not Rhodes, but of Archipelago. Okay. All right. Black smoke. Thank you, Drew. All right. So, hey, good news. We survived. Nobody's engaged. We lay them all down. So that is going to be 4, 5, that is 6. So population effects. Nothing, 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 1 rebel. And now the balance of the archipelago. We have, again, 4, we have 6. So we need to spend 2 pineapples from either us or the domestic market, or they become rebels. Well, there goes 1. And And so that stands up 4 of them. So those 2 stay laying down. I think, well, if pineapples didn't kill us, the iron was going to. But I would like to do this properly. So they, yep, and those 2 become rebels, and it goes 1, 2, and that triggers the end of the game. Now, even if it didn't, the iron there was going to kill us as well. Ah, it's the new Pope. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. All right. So we're dead. We died. Independence for the Archipelago. But man, I just would like to say the exporter timed with that, and that could make us a metric crap ton of money. And we were so close. But I want to get back to this. Like, so let's be clear on this. You have to have built 2 markets and remove 2 resources from the supply. Again, I would like to point this out, right? Minus what's already out there, 2, right? Like there's 2 wood, there's 3 wood, there's 2 pineapples, there's 2 stone, etc. And do that in under 5 rounds. It's just not possible. Doing it under 6 rounds, that seems comically hard. And hey, bronze, at least you succeeded. I think that's at least reasonable on that. Don't y'all? I mean, right? Chat does not like me today. Let's fix this. Hold on one second. Solo is pretty tough. Pretty tough. You think so? Would you say so? All right, let me try and fix the chat here. There we go. I don't know what's going on with this, but whatever. There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, so the solo is brutal in this game. I like it. Let me state that. I do really like the way this system works. I just don't like the way, I mean, it feels like you were 24/7 on a knife's edge, at least so far. Yeah, and Krasimir says all gold level are basically impossible. So who the hell made that? Like, why even, like, that pisses me off, right? That shouldn't exist. So the gold levels, I mean, the silvers are comically hard on a lot of these as well. I would just say either success or fail, right? And that's that. That's how I am judging this anyways. But I really like this system. I think the game is really clever. And I like the way the solo works. It just doesn't feel... I like difficult. I like hard. I don't mind... I'm trying to think of the right way to word this. I just want it to feel reasonable. And this is butting right up against it, right? Now, it is an unfortunate card draw, obviously, right? I mean, if we go through, let's look at how some of these are. So just to give a fair shake. I mean, 3 iron. I mean, we had the potential for some iron out there, right? Immediate crisis of pineapple, immediate crisis of domestic fish. But see, the ones aren't bad. Right? So if you look at these, what I wonder, so whenever you see these 3s, now this is me just spitballing here, so take this with a grain of salt, right? There aren't a lot of 3s, as we're noticing. There's a handful, right? So I think we've seen like 3 or 4. That one can be a bit difficult too. So I would put that in that kind of same bracket as the 3s. So there is a bit of a luck of the draw aspect, but and some of these are actually positive. I mean, yeah, there are not that many 3s. So with that in mind, one thing, just again, spitballing, that I'm thinking about here is you could set aside the 3 cards, right? All the ones with those, like these, right? You make them into their own stack. And maybe you take, I don't know, like the first however many, say 10? I don't know. Again, I'm spitballing. Take the top 10, randomly choose one of these, maybe 2, and then you bury them, and then you shuffle those in, and then you shuffle the rest in with the remainder of the deck. So that you know in the first X amount of rounds, there's only going to be one really bad. And go that way. Because at least then it feels like, I mean, if you get that super early, right? Again, I'm not huge on house rules. I'm not anti-house rule. I want to have a fair shake. I want to have a shot at this. So I'm trying to think of something there to balance out for the solo. Now, from multiplayer, it's easier because multiple players have that, right? So I appreciate that they just wanted to use the same deck of cards for the multiplayer and the solo. And really, all the solo expansion, really all it is sets the goals in the starting, and that's it. Because the time frame is comically, like, that's stupid, just terrible. Why make it even a thing if it's basically impossible to do? How is that smart? Anyway, but I do feel like something to mitigate a little bit of that that is happening. I'm all for the pressure of it, but just give me a fighting chance at it. Because in our example, had I not produced, we would have already been back here, remember, right? And the first pineapple would have killed us. So we're right up against that knife's edge. So yeah, it doesn't feel balanced at all. And I definitely feel like there has got to be some way to mitigate that deck a little bit. Outside of that, I think it's a clever system. I really do. I really like it. And I love the balance of exploration and balancing the rebels and balancing the population. I think that's fantastic. And it's really compelling. It's really interesting. And I like the way the market works, right? As far as the rotating, I have to buy one every turn. So you have that money pressure every round. And you might not get the card you want, or you might not rotate the card that you want to rotate, but you need to rotate it so it's cheaper for you next turn. These are all compelling decisions. These are all great things about this game. But, or, again, I'm spitballing. I'm not a designer. I'm not a developer. And I feel like Dan Carlin. I'm not a historian. You get the idea. The other thing you could do is make the next card visible. I don't know if that would make it better or worse, honestly. But you can always know what the next card is. Maybe that. I don't know. It's not my job to do that. But, man, there's a lot to like here, but it is awfully frustrating. And yeah, in multiplayer, I'm not talking about that. I'm sure that it balances things and you don't have to worry about the rebels as much because you have multiple players adding to the collective population. I understand all that. And this is very much designed as a multiplayer game. But I feel like the solo is so close to being really good. That's all. Okay? Yeah, and I have no doubt that now that I know that Khan has a copy and I can finally get this back to Randall, we'll play it multiplayer when we're able to, right? But as it is, the solo is it's so close. Just figure out a way to balance that. And once you do that, this thing, I think, could be a legitimate, great solitary experience. Because I have heard it said that Archipelago Solo is only there to basically as not a tutorial, but as a meh experience to kind of whet your appetite for the multiplayer. I think this has the potential to be fantastic, but you got to do something about these. So, I don't know. I guess that's on, you know what? Ludically, if they choose, because I feel like the way the solo was developed was piss poor, right? I mean, why are you giving us gold, high level, like the highest, that aren't positive? Like, come on, man. That's lazy or sadistic or a mix, right? Anyway. That just irritates me. I'm trying to see here who was the developer. So they have a whole bunch of things listed, just not the developer. Designer. But anyway, whatever. I think that's it. Anyway, all right, I enjoyed it, and I want to like it more than I do. And it's so close, right? And that's what's frustrating, to have it so close to being such a good solitaire experience that just do it. Just make it happen, whoever you are. Developer of the solo. Just so close. Anyway, if y'all enjoyed this, give it a thumb, subscribe. Seriously, consider supporting the show. This is going the wrong way, y'all. Help us out. Go over to patreon.com/heavycardboard. You not only support the show, you help keep things going here. You get access to the Slack channel. You get other benefits. Yeah, so it's a pretty amazing community we have around the Heavy Cardboard, so certainly appreciate all of y'all. So thank you for this. All right, tomorrow, let's see, today is Friday, right? It is. Yeah, tomorrow. Target for today. A little Legion War game. Very procedural, but looks really good. Have yet to play it. It'll be the first time playing it, so it'll be a learn with me kind of type thing, but really looking forward to this one. So if you're into war games or just World War II in general, strategic bombing over Germany, I think it's a pretty cool idea. So join me for that. That is going to be supposed to be 1500, 3 p.m. Eastern. That is 2100 across the pond. So thanks, y'all. Certainly appreciate it. Congrats to everybody getting their vaccine. Keep that up. Even if we end up getting sick like I did, it's still worth it, because eventually we're all going to be able to get together and game together in person again eventually. So it's worth it. All right. So stay safe. Wear your masks. Even if you've been vaccinated, wear your masks, right? Unless you are around only other vaccinated people. Common sense here. So social distance, all that. Be kind to one another. And I'll see you all tomorrow afternoon. All right? Thanks, everybody. Take care. Ah, wrong one. There we go. Gah.